Why are innocent people incarcerated? Well, observing people's opinions, they say it's a false witness testimony, either intentional or unintentional, is one reason. Another one, because they couldn't afford decent attorneys and were instead appointed by some overworked or lazy court lawyer. Some suggest that evidence against them that is flawed, statements by vengeful people, police corruption, all sorts of reasons, but mainly police corruption. Now, if we are strictly judged by the law in whatever state we may be, there's no doubt in our mind that we won't be justified for a ticket or spending a night in jail, like spitting, or just in case there's no bathroom, you have to use it on a wall or a tree, little things. But in this case, where people are sent to prison for over 1 or 2 decades and they were falsely accused, there's no way you can repay back to these people at all. They probably lost their wife, their kids, their job, possessions, and sometimes their mind. Here is a compilation video of the people I am talking about. And to be honest with you, this is another reason why I don't agree with the death penalty.
A 70-year-old North Carolina man is free after a panel of judges found that he was wrongly convicted nearly 4 decades ago.
Well, I can thank God to be alive and thank the Innocence Project and the Innocence Commission for sticking by this case and making it really happen.
Joseph Sledge became the 8th person exonerated after the state set up the North Carolina Innocence Inquiry Commission. The commission found there was enough doubt to review Sledge's case, and the state Supreme Court appointed 3 judges to have the final say.
There's no question in my mind that part of justice was served today with his release, but it's a tragedy for him to be released after 37 years at 70 years old.
Sledge was sentenced to life in prison in the September 1976 slayings of Josephine Davis and her daughter Eileen. They were found stabbed to death a day after Sledge had escaped from a prison work farm where he was serving time for larceny.
No, we was down with him, We know he didn't do it. He told us he didn't do it.
Family members of the slain women were in disbelief.
We, the family, are heartbroken by this decision.
Sledge said he was looking forward to sleeping in a real bed and maybe swimming in a pool. Matthew Burgoyne, Associated Press.
In 2010, Alan Northrop got some great news.
Oh, man. I was jumping around the day room saying, I'm out of here, I'm out of here.
He was being released from prison after serving 17 years for a crime he didn't commit. Was it hard to transition to the outside?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a really hard time with that. And I still do.
What did they give you when you got out?
Nothing.
He walked out of prison with just the money he had been sent by family and the earnings from his 42-cent an hour prison job. A little over $2,000. But he also got something else.
Yeah, I got hit with a child support bill of $111,000.
How were you expected to pay that?
Good question. I just looked at it and went, really?
There's sort of a gut reaction that this was a horrible injustice.
There she is!
Innocence Project lawyer Laura Zarowski worked to free Alan.
My name is Laura Zarowski, and I'm the policy staff attorney with the Innocence.
Now she's working on legislation to give him and other exonerated prisoners compensation for their time wrongfully imprisoned.
Under the bill, they would be getting $50,000 for each year of wrongful conviction.
For Alan, that could mean as much as $850,000, money he could really use. He works at a factory and lives here with friends because he can't afford his own apartment. If you got that money, what would that mean to you?
Oh, some breathing space. Be able to, help out the family and just get started over again, start over normal life again.
But is it possible to put a price on the number of years that you spent inside?
No, and there's no price on that at all.
After 19 years behind bars, a man who was wrongly convicted has just walked out of the county jail. and he's a free man now.
His supporters say he should never have been convicted in the first place.
And now a man who's been behind bars for nearly 2 decades has been just acquitted on murder charges and was reunited with family just minutes ago. You saw a part of that. KCRA3 Sharikina Shams joining us right now live from outside the Sacramento County Jail. She has a lot more, Sharo.
So, Galston, this happened just a few minutes ago here, just outside the main jail in downtown Sacramento. The man you saw there is 37-year-old Richard Alex Williams. He was released, as you mentioned, after 19 years behind bars. Take a look at this video and keep in mind, this man was just 18 years old when he first went to prison, when he first started serving time for murder. And this was him just a few minutes ago embracing his family. They hugged, they cried, they cheered when they first caught a glimpse of him outside this jail. Williams won himself a new trial after a federal judge found constitutional problems with an earlier trial. In that trial, an African-American woman was kept off the jury, and the federal judge found that happened because of her race. So not only did Williams get a new trial, but he won over a jury in that trial, and yesterday that jury acquitted him of murder. Back out here live, I want to just remind you that this was not his second, but it was actually his third trial, because more than 18 years ago, right after that murder occurred in South Sacramento, in his first trial, there was a hung jury. That led to the second trial, which was later deemed constitutionally flawed, and then finally that third trial yesterday in which he was acquitted. Also frustrating for this family, it took more than 24 hours after the acquittal yesterday for him to finally be released from jail because of some procedural questions with the state prison where he was being held before he was brought here to the county. So we'll have much more on that tonight when KCRA3 reports the news at 6:30. For now, we're live in downtown Sacramento. I'm Sharikina Shams, KCRA3 News.
Nonetheless, the end to a long chapter for that family. Charles, thanks.
We're here on case 020436, case of 1975. That was in front of Judge George McMonigle, and there was a finding of guilty at that point, and Mr. Jackson actually was sentenced to death in the state penitentiary, and the appeals at least took that away from the state. But since then, there's been a motion for a new trial. We had a hearing a few days ago, and the motion for a new trial was granted. And Mr. Awadallah, do you have to say anything?
Thank you, Your Honor. On behalf of the state of Ohio, to reiterate what Mr. McGinty said the other day, the state of Ohio at this time makes a motion to dismiss the case.
All right. The case will be dismissed. Mr. Jackson, you're going to be free to go. I suggest to you that life is filled with small victories, and this is a big one. Know who your friends are, because everybody's going to want a piece of you. And you better trust the people who you know you can trust. So I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
It's extraordinary. I'm very happy. Needless to say, words can't express how I feel right now. I'm just glad to be out, glad to be a free man.
What are you going to do today? Where are you going to go?
Wow. I mean, you sit in prison for so long, you think about this day, but when it actually comes, you don't know what you just want to do something, besides what you've been doing for 39 years.
Okay. How excited are you to see Ronnie and Wiley?
Well, I really haven't got a chance to meet him yet, see him yet. I saw him briefly in the courtroom, but I'm dying to meet him. I want to embrace him and hug him. Excuse me. Because we've been through a lot together, and we made it. We're here. We made it. Just because you're in prison, you don't have to be a prisoner. You got to be a man, And you got to get yourself together regardless of what the circumstances are, and you got to press forward. You know you're innocent, and you got to keep fighting,
Now, what's your first meal you're going to have? What have you been thinking about?
Wow, everybody asks that. I mean, I don't really, as long as it's not prison food.
You walked into the courtroom today, you smiled at some people, you waved at them. Who were they?
Family, friends, and I mean just people I didn't really know. I'm just glad to see people. You know, I'm just happy to see people, you know, for real.
What are your thoughts about the people who got you here in the first place 39 years ago, the people who said you did it when you didn't?
Well, I guess a lot of people will want me to hate that person and they'll carry animosity towards him, but I don't. You know, people have to remember that they see him as a grown man today, but in 75, he was a 12-year-old kid. And he was manipulated and coerced by the police, you know, and they used him. They used him to get us in prison. So as far as that young man is concerned, I wish him the best. I don't hate him. I just wish he has a good life. It took a lot of courage to do what he did in that courtroom. You guys didn't see his testimony. You didn't hear his testimony, but it took a lot of courage to do what he did. They tried to break him. They tried to screw him up. But at the end, he always said the same basic thing. They didn't do it. I lied. And that took a lot of courage for him. He's been carrying a burden around for 39 years like we have. But in the end, he came through, and I'm grateful for that. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah! They don't feel it. I feel it. Yeah! Woo!
Thank you.
All right.
All right, guys.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
We're going to go left.
We go right.
We love you, man. I'm glad you're okay. We're going to take care of you. You're going to be all right. Give us back our family, man. Give us back our family. God is good all the time. Yes. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I wish your mother was here with it. My auntie needs to be here with you.
How you doing, Mama? Me and my brother Leon Brown, and it was a rough experience. Sometimes I felt like giving up and stuff, but I said no, I can't do that. The life move on. I knew one day that I was gonna be blessed to get out of prison. I just didn't know when that time was gonna be. For no reason, though. I don't hate it.
You don't know how to work your seatbelt?
Here you go. No. Here you go, Henry. You got to pull it over like that, and then you pull it down like that and clip it into the belt buckle there. Yeah, right down beside your left side. There you go.
What's up, man? I'm talking to these people right now.
This is what freedom sounds and looks like for two men who paid a debt to society the system now says they didn't owe.
It really haven't hit me yet. It's like surreal.
This is a wonderful day. A wonderful day.
We crying. I'm just drying the face right now. We just happy as it can be. 21 years, that's a long time for anybody to be gone.
Ronald Kitchen and Marvin Reeves were gone in prison for the 1988 murders of 2 women and 3 children. But Kitchen had long said a cop working under former police commander John Burge beat a confession out of him.
I gave in, hoping that the judge and the jury would see that, hey, he's telling the truth.
Reeves, too, had long maintained his innocence.
When you're an innocent man, good always happens for you.
And you never lost faith?
Never. Never.
Both fought their convictions. There was a lengthy reinvestigation, and now their cases are dismissed because of a lack of credible evidence to justify keeping them behind bars. They and their families prayed for today. And what's your prayer for your brother now?
That he would be able to make something out of his life that's left.
Reeves and Kitchen will be making up for lost father time. This is Kitchen's son.
I really don't know how to feel. Like, it's just, I'm about to meet somebody I never met.